You know, I really love falling down on my rear in front of everybody. I mean, pain is so much fun. Getting hurt is awesome, said no one ever. Today's episode is inspired by my glorious fall and skid against the pavement as I was running. As I believe everything happens for a reason, I believe that you've probably fallen several times, whether it's physically, mentally, or spiritually. In today's episode, you're going to learn a whole bunch of life lessons that you can use to take that miserable fall and turn it into a positive outcome. If you want more motivational stories like the one you're about to listen to, just hit the subscribe button and the bell icon below so you never miss an episode. Welcome to Adventures in Leadership on Christy TV. This is where high achievers go for the tools, confidence, and motivation to become a successful leader. Let's do this. It was a beautiful sunny day and I wanted to take advantage of it, so I decided to go for a run and take my sweet, loving, innocent 11-and-a-half-year-old Ibizan Kismet with me. Now, she's not new to running with me. She's run hundreds of miles with me. In fact, she's finished 2 half marathon races with me. So she's not new to running and she's fairly well trained. But today she decided to act a little different. Well, we were running and she got excited about the dog across the street that was walking. So she darted in front of me, and unfortunately it was right as I was running. So if you know the physics of momentum, when you're running, I tripped over her, went flying Superman style, and smacked right on the pavement and skid several feet. I hit the ground pretty hard. She stood still. And Noreen, who I later found out was the woman who had the dog, rushed over and said, "Are you okay?" Because I hit pretty hard. Now, the first thing that went through my head was, "Christy, just get up, you're fine, just get right up." It took me a second to get up. And then when she asked if I was okay, I said, "Oh, no, I'm fine, it's okay." I didn't want her to fuss over me. And so I thought, well, I'll just walk the half-mile home, get myself cleaned up. She asked, "Well, do you need bandages? Do you want a tissue?" I said, no, I really don't need anything. I'm good. But then I kind of looked at my hands. I looked at my knee, my leg. I was bleeding everywhere. And she's like, "You know what? I think I really should get you something." I kept kind of going back and forth. I said, maybe I need at least a tissue. So she came out. She had Band-Aids, tissues, the whole bit. She bandaged up my hands. I cleaned up my knee. And she was like, "Are you sure you don't need any more?" I said, "No, I'm good." And I walked all the way home. Now, I've been running 10 years and I've only fallen 4 times, including this time. But for some reason, this fall, I really took some life lessons away from it. One of my favorite quotes about falling actually comes from the movie Batman Begins. So if you're not familiar, a young Bruce Wayne falls into a well, he breaks his arm, his dad rescues him, and he looks at him and says, "Why do we fall, Bruce?" "So we can learn to pick ourselves up." I thought this was perfect because as soon as I fell, my first inclination was to get back up, Christy, just hurry up and get back up. You don't always have to get back up so fast. The really important thing about that quote was to learn to pick ourselves up. It took me a minute to get back up after I had fallen. I was in some pain, so I kind of got up gradually, but I got back up. Don't judge yourself on how quickly or slowly you get back up. The big thing here is that you get back up, period. That you go down, you fall down, but you don't stay down. Accepting someone's support could be crucial in your fall. Now, when I originally went down and I said, "Oh, just get right back up, Christy," Noreen, who was a stranger to me at first until I found out her name, came rushing over saying, "Hey, how can I help you? Do you need a tissue? Do you need a Band-Aid?" And I kept saying, "No, I don't need it," when actually I really did. I was pretty bloody, I was pretty banged up, and there was nobody else around. And I was a half-mile from home. And I'm glad that I accepted her support and her kindness. Because a lot of times people just want to help. Sometimes maybe you just need to tell them how to help. Who are you kind of shying away from support? Is it a spouse? Is it a family member, a friend, maybe your boss? Maybe it's a complete stranger that offers you support and you're like, no, I'm good. But if you've fallen and you need it, well, there ain't no shame in accepting support because you'll probably be way better off for it. After I got home and I started cleaning up, I started putting water and all sorts of ointments and stuff on my wounds, and oh my gosh, was it painful. I think I took off several layers of skin, so everything was really, really sensitive. And I was fighting back tears the whole time. But here's what I was thinking. Christy, you know somebody who got in a horrible car accident recently. Her whole body was broken. It was completely life-threatening. It was a miracle that she even came out alive. She's gonna take over a year to recuperate and heal from that car accident. So here I was crying because of my little wounds. And I always thought, well, she went through all of that and you're hurting over a couple little wounds and some scrapes and some cuts? But here's the thing. That doesn't negate the pain. I can say as many times as I want, well, it could be worse, and it could have been worse. And I am very grateful for that it wasn't worse. But the pain is still the pain. So it's the same thing with you. If you've fallen, and if you hear people say, oh, well, it could be worse, you should be grateful. Well, that's true to a point, but you're still in pain. But you have a choice in how to deal with that pain. So was I in pain? Yes. Did it hurt? Yes. But I chose not to allow that pain to overtake me and to really work on my mindset to say, yes, it could be worse. Yes, I'm grateful. And that's what absolutely took down that pain. When pain happens, acknowledge it, and then you have a choice on which way do you want to handle it? Another lesson I learned, what was the message in this? Because when I decided to run, it was 70 degrees, it was sunny, and in my neck of the woods in the Midwest, that is really, really rare for this time of year, so late in the year. I got hurt, and now I couldn't do all the yard work that I planned to do. I planned to do yard work all weekend long. I was just gonna work hard, get all that finished. I was kind of irked because now I couldn't do that. My hands were busted up, my knee, my hip was all messed up. There's no way I could do what I wanted. But what was the message in the fall? What was the message in the pain? Well, I took it as, it's time to slow down. You're not meant to do yard work this weekend. It's just not going to happen. You need to concentrate on some other things. You need to stop, you need to slow down, you need to look around and do something different. And that's what I ended up doing. I ended up staying in the house most of the time, but I was probably way more productive in the house than I would have been had I done a whole bunch of yard work. When you fall, think about what's the message behind this? Do I need to stop? Do I need to slow down? And then learn from it and then just move forward. Acknowledging the icky is a big deal. Okay, so yeah, you fell, you hurt yourself, or you've taken a fall as far as mentally or spiritually. But what are you going to do now? So you've heard the message, now what are you going to do in the future? How can you learn from what you're going through? How can you learn and maybe help somebody else? The wounds will heal, you will heal, but the big deal is you've acknowledged the icky, but now what are you going to do with it? Maybe the pain that you're going through could be an inspiration for somebody else. Like for me, when I had these wounds, I had people all over the place saying, oh, well, you should try this on your hand, or you should do this, or you should do that. And actually, a lot of those suggestions really helped my recovery. And the other thing is, when I acknowledged the icky, well, I decided this could be something inspirational for anybody out there who has taken a fall. And what can you do? What can you learn to implement in the future? Now, after I got home and I cleaned myself up and everything was good, I did something I usually don't do on social media. I posted my fall. I mean, not the video of it, of course, but the whole reason for it was to say that there are really cool people in this world that still care. That was the whole point of my post. Because I didn't want to show my wounds. I wanted to hide all of that. Your wounds, your pain, your fall, that's part of you, but it doesn't define you. It is not exactly who you are. So if you've fallen, if you're going through something that's painful, that's okay, but it doesn't define you. You don't have to put it out there for the whole world, but you don't always have to hide it. That's the stigma that we want to break. Nobody's perfect. That's okay. So just be comfortable with saying, hey, I'm not perfect. Here's some of my pain and here's where I've fallen. You never know who that's going to inspire or who's going to come out of the woodwork to help you. It was awesome to see the outpouring of love and support and healing suggestions that I got from everybody that I knew. I was shocked. But then at the same time, I also felt blessed to have so many people calling me, texting me, messaging me, "Are you okay?" And this went on for several days. They all just wanted to make sure that I was okay because they had seen me fall, they knew I was hurt, and they were there to help me up. Noreen was the one that actually saw me fall. She was the first responder, so to speak. She was there to help me. So who are the Noreens in your life? Who are the people out there that are willing to give you an outpouring of love and support when you fall? Think of leaning on those people, because I'm sure there are a ton of people in your circle that maybe you don't even know they exist. The biggest thing here is having a sense of gratitude and understanding that yes, it could be worse, but A, just acknowledge the pain, and B, look for that support system. Now, the other thing is, when I posted on social media, one of my friends said, "Well, Christy, that's gonna make an awesome story one day." Well, here you go. That was the actual inspiration for putting this on one of today's episodes of Christy TV. So hopefully you'll see that, yeah, did I have pain? Yep. Did I acknowledge it? Yes. Am I still a little irked that I didn't get to do the yard work? Maybe a little bit. But here's the other thing. It also taught me to slow down, to accept the pain, and then to make the choices. Because if you haven't noticed by now, my headband, Suck It Up Cupcake, is what I usually wear when I run. Because if it's tough, if I'm going through some tough times, well, I have this mantra, suck it up, cupcake, because hey, things could be worse. Well, yeah, things could be worse. But the big deal here is learning these life lessons of accepting support, being in gratitude, making a choice of how do you want to handle the pain. Those are all huge lessons that I know I took away, and hopefully they connected with you. And speaking of connection, I hope you're connecting the dots like I've done today of acknowledging the pain and choice. It's a choice on how you handle it from here. And let's just get right into the action item. How are you going to handle the pain or when you fall the next time? Because it'll happen. Because I'll tell you one thing, falling is not the end. It's just a stumbling block to get you to a higher milestone, to get you to that higher goal, to get you to that higher achievement. Because let's face it, everybody's going to fail on their way to success. So how are you going to handle that fall? How are you going to handle the pain? How are you going to reach out for support? How are you going to accept support? And most of all, what mindset are you going to sway toward the next time that you do fall? If this story inspired you to take action on your own falls, well, let me know in the comments below and give this video a thumbs up. If you loved what you saw today and you want more, you got it. Just hit the subscribe button and the bell icon below and you'll never miss an episode. And if you know somebody who would love motivational stories like this, success strategies, or leadership tips, well, hit the share button below and share it with them. They may just thank you for it. Thanks for tuning in to Christy TV, and here's to picking yourself back up. Do you want to be a confident, next level leader, but your job doesn't offer any solid training? Are you unsure of how or where to start? Then let's talk. Schedule a free leadership strategy session with me. If you're a driven professional and you're serious about taking your success to the next level, just click the link in the description below. We'll talk about your challenges and next steps you can take to be the leader you're meant to be. Let's move you forward now.